Good morning, poor Exiles. Short and rich in changes update as promised. I've done a lot of tweaking and testing throughout last week, which ended up with complete change of concept. I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't get single target DPS to an acceptable and feel good state with EK. Spread of the blades was really hard to get on point with low budget. So, decision has been made. Blade Vortex plus Blade Blast of Unloading on Hierophant is the way to go. Okay, I can talk whole day about how good and fun the build is, but let's talk about some facts. First iteration was able to clear T17 maps and that's pretty much it, even though I said that survivability was fine. When I've juiced up the content a bit, I got smashed to the ground. As you've already seen, I cleared pretty much all base version of bosses. There's one more thing, now I'm able to run T17s. They are not like juiced to the limit wisp unique strats, but more like okay-ish rolled 100% currency and scarab maps with boxes. Something similar to the strat I've used in my first video. To be clear, deaths on bosses happen, but hey, we play in softcore. Portals are also a defensive layer, right? Now, let's talk briefly about the changes. Instead of chaos damage, I've decided to go Mind Over Matter Archmage. Now we scale lightning damage and I think it was an amazing choice for a budget option. Raw numbers first, close to 600k DPS per Blade Blast explosion. Even though it sounds low, this time I can say with confidence that bumping up number of explosions to 7 or even 10 won't be a perfect scenario, not achievable number. From my experience, you will explode at least 7 blades like 95% of the time, which means that you can expect from 4.1 up to 5.9 million Uber Pinnacle boss DPS most of the time. Defense also improved by a lot. POB calculated 364k effective hit pool. It's not that amazing because it takes into consideration around 85% block chance and we can still get one shot. But in my opinion, each specific pool looks respectable. To prove the point, I was able to tank loads of Maven, Shaper and Elder attacks. I've even tried tanking Shaper Slam, but I got a bit carried away with this one. I'm running Hierophant with Arcane Blessing, Conviction of Power, Divine Guidance and Sanctuary of Thought. The Ascendancy alone gives us 4 power and endurance charges, 3 arcane surge with 20% more spell damage and crazy AoE. I felt that every single lap contributes significantly and you can feel an impact while you work your way throughout the campaign. Weapon, shield and amulet are exactly the same. We have an additional unique, which is Cloak of Defiance, giving us free Mind Over Matter. It costs around 1 to 1.5 divine for 6-link version. All other gear is still rares with health, LE and chaos res, but now additionally mana wherever possible. Getting higher tiers of mana might drive the price quite a lot, so I've settled on tier 5 or even 6 if the price exceeded divine a piece. I will talk about 2 important stats on gloves and boots later, but first let's take a look at jewels. 5 uniques is what I'm running right now. Number 1, Watcher's Eye with Fizz converted to Lightning while affected by Grace. It enables us to fully convert Fizz without a need of Fizz to Lightning support or some crazy ass gloves. Around 1 divine for a really good roll. Number 2 and 3, Forbidden Flesh and Flame with Bastion of Hope passive. I would say these are 3 spell and attack block cap, 2 and 3 divines respectively. Number 4, Storm Shroud. It helps with ailment immunity, around 1.5 divines. Number 5, Unnatural Instinct, loads and loads of stats for just a divine. What's funny is jewels are the most expensive part of the build and everything besides maybe Storm Shroud is not mandatory. They help a lot, and by a lot I mean it. But you can get pretty much all stats spending some points on the tree, so if you don't have a budget you can slowly work your way up. On top of normal jewels we have 3 cluster jewels in total. one large with Essence Rush, Conjured Wall and Silmander for a bit of energy shield leech and faster Blade Vortex casts, one medium with Pressure Points and Quick Gateway for additional crit chance and a bit of damage, and one small with Enduring Ward. It gives us 10% to attack block chance. All clusters are around 2 divine total, nothing crazy and definitely not mandatory. One last thing about gloves and boots. We need to get Fist to Lightning craft or Veiled Mod on gloves, so we can avoid using Fist to Lightning support. For the boots, chance to avoid all elemental ailments and chance to avoid being shocked with implicits makes little over 50% of our avoidance chance. Other half is filled with Abyss Jewel in the belt. Total cost comes down to around 20 divines, which I still consider close to low budget. That's pretty much it. I don't want to bore you with skill gems for now. You can check POB, link is in the description. It includes 2 options, one with what I'm running right now and one with a cheaper version. The cheaper one has modified tree to compensate for lack of jewels, which make up most of the build cost. I'm planning on dropping a full build guide next week with detailed leveling and progression. The goal is to explain the concept and thought process well enough that you will be able to experiment on your own and go beyond my guide. Path of Exile is an extremely complex game, and being able to make an idea work all by yourself makes you feel amazing. That's what I've just started learning after well over 4k hours put into this game. If you enjoyed the video or got interested in the build, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you're new. Recently the channel reached over 400 subscribers, which is a great achievement and I can't thank you enough. Have a nice day and I will see you next week, poor Exiles.